Good Monday morning. I am Genevieve Jones-Wright, founder and lead empower mentor of Motivation.In.Action, or MIA, and this is, of course, Motivational Mondays. We are starting this Monday's conversation on National Women's Small Business Month with the dynamic mother-daughter duo, Khea Pollard and Cynthia Ajani. How are you two?
We're doing good. We feel good. Yeah.
You look good. Y'all just in here glowing and being all vibrant. Let me tell you, beautiful, beautiful, stunning.
Thank you, love.
So I'm going to start with Khea. Who is Khea Pollard?
I think about myself first and foremost as someone who loves to learn. I actually really love to play. I like to create things, and most of the time I like to create them and just walk away. And I love traveling. I love learning different cultures. So I'm a student of the world and a creator, I think of myself.
Yes, Miss Ajani.
Who is Cynthia?
Yes, who is Cynthia?
I'm a person who loves people. I like to see people thrive. I like to help people thrive. It's kind of a passion. So I think she got the lifetime learning thing from me. She got it honest. I never stop learning, no matter, I don't want to tell. I just turned 55 this year.
Tell it.
I'm happy about that, though. Some of the people I grew up didn't make it. So I'm here, and I just want to do purposeful work.
I love that. And you are doing purposeful work. And we're here talking about National Women's Small Business Month. And you two are the owners of Café X. And I feel like that's a big part of doing purposeful work because of the space that it is for the community and in the community. So can we talk about Café X?
Yeah, I am obviously really connected to this project because I had the idea when I finished the Rise Fellowship program. And actually it was a key part of the learnings of that program to build something that mattered to you in the community. And I was 21 or something, 20, going on 21, just very young. And I had to really sit and think about the impact that I wanted to make in my community and the why and who I was at that stage. And I had just started working at the county, maybe a year earlier, the county of San Diego. And I was, working for an elected official, and I really had to step back and say, okay, so what do I want to do, and who am I? And I really remember through that program thinking, I really want a community that I can lean on, and I want a community that I can give to, but also receive and feel like I'm part of a family, right? So I have my family, and then I have community family. And I want it to be something that will bring development to the community, so economic development specifically, something that we can pass down for generations and have it feed us and really be community centered and community run. And that's when I started to think about Café X. And that's why I thought about playing with, again, because I love just creating things and playing with structures and dynamics. And I thought, it needs to be a cooperative. It needs to model something different, something different than the typical hierarchical kind of ways in which we do business, and kind of blur the lines between business and nonprofit and, community-driven work. And so that's how I came up with a concept of a business that really does have a triple bottom line, is really what people like to say, but it's really our why and it's our purpose. And that's why Café X exists. I want to have something that is going to give back to the community for a long time to come. And I am personally inspired by Malcolm X. That was one of the first books I read about a civil rights leader who wasn't passive, was very vocal, and he had a transformation from point A to point B, Detroit Red. His days there in the streets and being educated in prison and then coming out and then being this really significant global leader. And I thought, wow, and he lived such a short period of time, and he made this full circle. And for me, that was super powerful, just to see a human being transform that way. So I integrated that into the business, into the concept. And through that fellowship program, after it, I didn't know that it would take off, that I would even do it, but that's where it began. And this lady here just amplified it.
Yes. How'd you amplify?
I came in loving. That's what I did, seriously. I thought that it's a passion project for us. It's not just a business. It's a place, like she said, to grow community, develop the leaders that we want to see. And it's a whole lot more than just coffee. On our business card, it says it's more than coffee. It's a movement. That's true at its core. That's the foundation. We don't exist except to provide services for the community and engage and elevate. So other than that, just for coffee? No, it wasn't just for coffee. It was about creating that sanctuary and that space where we could network and introduce people to businesses and businesses to people and organizations to other organizations and those kind of things. And we do that daily. And, I work pretty hard, grind pretty hard to do that.
Absolutely. Oh, man, what you all do is just so powerful, and it really can't be overstated. I don't want to miss this. I don't want people to miss that it is a cooperative. So can you talk about what a cooperative does and what the purpose of a cooperative is?
Absolutely. Yeah. And there are several different types of cooperatives. For us, we're a worker-owned cooperative. So folks that come here will be workers and owners, and that will be the table by which decisions are made. Ideally democratic. Every structure is different. Ours is a flat structure now. So folks that come on, we have voting process for what happens and decisions that are made, and everybody at the table brings their talents. And so cooperatives are powerful because you're pulling your resources together, and then you have that investment from the people who come on, who are actually using their skills, and they're being seen, and they're using their skills to the best ability of the business. So,
yeah. Do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Oh, wow. There's a lot of power in working from the ground up. In every position that I've held, I always started at the bottom and kind of expanded it. One of my strengths is process improvement, and it's because I understand it from the ground up. So, like I said, there's nothing more powerful than that. And then again, you feel invested in all of the work and not just a piece of the work. And you kind of get you feel the energy of it's all one concept and we're all one team when you're able to do that. So it's a very good and powerful structure.
And I want to go back to Malcolm X's inspiration, because it's not just through the philosophy of the work, but it's right there in the name. So Café X, but then you also go by...
Yeah, Café X, by any means necessary.
By any means necessary. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So obviously you're responsible for coming up with that name.
Yeah.
And Mom was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree, man. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at that hoodie, so...
Well, it just means what it says.
Yes.
Yes, with the Café X logo. My political party is black. And, I've been asked about that. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that. It means that if you are not on a platform that is there to elevate black people and underserved community, then I'm probably not the person that's going to be voting for you. So that is it in a nutshell.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
yes.
I mean, it was really heartening to see the community take to that too. And it was a process, because we had designed charrettes. We had different people weigh in on that name. And I think for us, it's not something that excludes people, but brings people in. And that's something I like to see, especially when it comes to Malcolm X and it comes to self-determination. Some people, I think, can be afraid, so when we bring it in and we bring it in a coffee shop setting, I've heard some folks say, I've never thought of Malcolm X and coffee. I'm like, well, you do now. You see the connection, between the self-determination, the need to have those difficult conversations to come together. And if you don't agree, you can still talk. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Café X, by any means necessary, where is it located?
We're located now in Sherman Heights at 1835 Imperial Avenue, and it's a incredible concept co-space. So we're co-located with an organization called 1835 Studios. There are several other businesses in there, which I love it when you talk about, so I'll let you go into. From CBD to clothing boutiques to barbers, and we have some office space upstairs and a really nice event space outside. So it's a place where people can come, not just for coffee, but to hang out and lounge and, you know, go and visit any of the other businesses and see the art and the opportunity in the space.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Most of the people there are just come in within the last year, here 2022. So we have, should I name them all?
Please give them
Okay.
shout outs.
Shout out to Greenish Vibes. They are a CBD wellness suite owned by a black couple, Danica and Joe Frazier. Shout out. And then we have Threads in Bloom. That's a young Latina. Her name is Karina. Really sweet lady. She does a lot of demo shows in LA. And then Las Quejones. Quejones, I always mispronounce that. But it's the barbershop. A couple of fellas in there. And then there's a new girl that moved in by the name of Steph. And she does, believe it or not, she has a tanning chair. She does cosmetic stuff like lip tints and lashes and brows and things like that. And upstairs, we have a tattoo artist. There's an artist that just does artwork, a couple of DJs that do their work out of there. And there's a couple there that does podcasts on Sundays. So there's just a variety of things going on in that space that people can tap into daily. We have people that come in that usually work from home. They get a break. He said one of them was here, one of your employees. It's one of his favorite places to be. And then the outdoor space, and even on the other side of the fence to the backyard is Asylum Rock Climbing. So they have a weight station and a doggy run if you want to bring your fur person. So there are quite a few activities. We have wet tacos on site. They usually are there for Taco Tuesday, and they're there on Wednesday. So those are the businesses that are pretty frequent on a daily basis. So love supporting other businesses. One of the things that we have in our own space, we use Sweet Treats by Thick as one of our bakers. Yeah, and we have Rackley Flowers and Gifts, and Black Girls Who Garden, who have their plants and flowers that are for sale. There's a QR code there that you can tap them, take the plant, and they'll replace them. There are a few Black authors that I want to highlight, but one that we have currently, she called it her government name, is Annette McKinley, and she has On Mama's Back. It's a child's book. And so we have that for sale there, and one of the journals, you might want to talk about that. Someone
we have
actually,
a partnership
yes,
with a beautiful Chicana poet. She calls herself Pink Chicana Poet. And she created this journal for Café X that the proceeds are going back to a project that we're supporting, the Black Women's Resilience Project, which is a guaranteed income project for Black women, so giving Black women money.
I think that was highlighted in a recent news article. Yeah. Congrats on that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and it's really cool to see folks just create, and the proceeds that come from this notebook are going to go directly back to that project. So the focus groups that we conduct, we're going to feed people. We're going to have good conversation about what's needed in our community and what's possible, and really what these women and what these families want to see in that program as we design it and develop it. So it's really cool. It's something that came to us, and we didn't ask for it, and someone just took the initiative to do that. So shout out to her too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that you can shout out all of the other spaces that are there communally with you all, because it shows that you know your neighbors. And I feel like we don't know our neighbors anymore. I do want to ask, what challenges did you face or are you still facing today as business owners, whether it's because you are a Black business owner, or because you're a small business owner, or because you're women business owners, or all of it? So however you want to answer that question, because some people who are looking at this Motivation on Mondays may want to start a business and they have no clue the kind of challenges they're going to face. So what are some of those real challenges?
Woo! Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot. Because there are community challenges in integrating the concept, and it depends on what your concept is, right? And the idea of a cooperative in 2015, 16 was like, what is that, for most people? And don't we already have a gathering space, like at the library? Like, I heard that one, and then, lots of other things. But that, for us, is a challenge all on its own, and is likely unique to us, in that when you're trying to do business differently, you're going to meet a lot of differences of opinion, and also not fitting into the traditional structures. Financing is hard. So when we talk about, we want to finance a business with 7 owners, the loan companies are like, okay, we've never seen that before. And then there's all of these hurdles. And what if, one of the owners doesn't have a good credit score? What if one of them is undocumented? There are all these things that come with our specific structure. And then just getting access to loans that are more than a microloan is like, few and far between. We were invited to apply for a loan and got it through Action, and we didn't end up taking it. Thank goodness. And that's a whole nother story with the pandemic. It was right before there. And we didn't decide to take it. That was her call, and she was right. So we didn't take that, but that was like one of the few that we could get. And it was a very high interest rate. So that hurdle, we don't have collateral, right? We're starting off of grants that I applied for and equipment that's reclaimed. And so we're piecing things together where folks who might have a lump sum of money to just go ahead and get started, might have an easier time.
One of the main challenges, I think, anything is finding the right connections and connecting with the right partners that are going to be lasting. Because, when you think about going into business, you not only have to have that alignment, but one has to be committed. This is like a marriage. This is everything. You got your money tied up, your time caught in it, and the commitment to that purpose. And finding someone who's going to align with you, nothing's ever going to be perfectly, but as close to that as you can get. That is a challenge, because some people come in with an agenda. They may have their own idea, and if you're able to find a happy medium and mesh those ideas together, they can be very powerful. But if someone is adamant about veering off into another direction that doesn't fit the initial vision, then that becomes a challenge. And sometimes it just can't come together. And you have to say to yourself sometimes, that's okay, and that's okay. Let go of any idea of disappointment, because everything happens for a reason. There are some things that we could have got tied into, and something happened to happen, and it didn't, even with, the pandemic. Moving with the speed of the universe, so to speak. And that means sometimes it's just be still.
And see, this is why I probably don't even need to ask the $1 billion question, because you've already just given us all these gems and jewels. You're just dropping them, right? But I'm going to ask you the $1 billion question. And so for the first time, you all are going to get $2 billion worth of some knowledge. So Khea, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. What advice would you leave with the audience today as they start their week on a motivational note?
My advice probably would be to follow your intuition. And if you can't find it, you better find it. You better fine tune it, spend some time, because it's there and we all have it. You just get centered in yourself, because when I started, I didn't really realize, the personal stuff that I needed to work through, whether it be low self-esteem, just, wanting to hide, not really knowing. I thought I knew who I was, right? But there's so many other layers. And as you get older, you notice that. And when you have more experiences, you notice that. So I think, no matter what stage you are at your life, it's really important to just unpack that. And then you get more clear, and then you get calmer.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And at least, if you're very structured, kind of a planner, like I tend to be, you get calmer in knowing that you're on the right track, even when things feel chaotic. So the intuition and really fine-tuning that and making that part of your journey just as important as profitability or, hitting those goals or strategic planning goals is really huge. So I would just add that.
Thank you. That was worth $1 billion. Cynthia?
Okay, what would I tell someone? Well, I'm going to go to the 4 agreements. The first thing, don't take anything personal, because someone is always going to have something to say. Always. Whether they like you or don't like you, or you should do this way or that way. Do that inner work so that you have the confidence and the inner ability to discern, and create your own path. I have this thing now, design your own map and follow it. Café X is literally doing something that has not been done. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust our vision, our intuition. We have to trust the energies that are leading us. So be able to, one, not take those things, so many things personally that they interfere with that process. So that's kind of where I kind of sit. I kind of lay in the cut in that and let that kind of guide.
What a way to start off the conversations on National Women's Small Business Month. You heard it. You heard it more than once. Get in tune with your intuition. And if your intuition ain't that good, fine tune your intuition. So I'm just going to leave it right there. I know this is going to be one of those Motivational Mondays conversations that you're going to go back to and you are going to watch again and you're going to get a whole nother nugget, because this has been such a wonderful conversation. I just want to say thank you both for making time to be here with us on this morning. And gotta say this, there is something that is especially beautiful and powerful about a mother coming in alignment and working with her daughter to help fulfill a dream and to work within that dream. I'm just like, I don't have the words for that, because people talk about support and your family supporting you. This is a whole nother level to know that Khea came up with this in her mind as a solution to a community problem, and then mom coming right there beside her. I just love it. I love everything about your story. So I know it has inspired so many people on this morning, and it's going to continue to inspire people because they're going to keep on watching. And they better go to Café X.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, Genevieve.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Motivational Mondays. I'm going to see you next week, same time, same place, right here, with more inspiration to help you jumpstart your week. Now, if you found this week's conversation inspirational or motivational in any way, maybe you got a gem to carry with you throughout the day or the week, please feel free to like, comment, and share. Because remember, everyone can use some motivation. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll see you next week.